That day in a small town in Australia, the local residents were preparing for a nighttime carnival featuring a main event, a rugby match. It was set to include their favorite player, Matt Simmons, as well as his brother Jackson. Initially, the festivities proceeded quite cheerfully, but midway through the rugby match, the entire venue was suddenly plunged into darkness when a power outage occurred, causing the game to halt. While everyone waited anxiously for what might happen next, strange lights appeared from behind the nearby hills, slowly moving closer to the field. The lights turned out to be from alien spacecraft, which suddenly opened fire on the people at the venue. The aliens also deployed troops who quickly surrounded and captured the panicked crowd. Meanwhile, Matt tried to help his girlfriend, Amelia, who had come to watch the match with her mother and younger brother, Marcus. Unfortunately, during the chaos, Amelia's mother was captured by the alien visitors. In their panic, they found help from a tourist named Peter and his daughter, Bella, who ushered them into their van. At one point, Matt also managed to rescue a local resident and bring this person along, just before being joined by Jackson and his girlfriend, Vanessa. Without delay, Peter sped away in the van, hoping to escape as quickly as possible. Just as they were leaving the farmland area, an alien craft gave chase, trailing close behind. Fortunately, at that exact moment, an Air Force squadron arrived and managed to bring down the alien vessel. Matt got out of the van to examine the wreckage and discovered something startling. The alien craft appeared to have no pilot inside. A short while later, a car driven by a resident named Arnold and someone named Dennis pulled up. Following Dennis's guidance, they all proceeded to a hidden shelter located deep in the forest. There, Peter reminded Matt of his promise to help find Peter's missing wife and son, who had disappeared during a previous attack. However, because it was already nighttime and too dangerous to begin a search, they agreed to rest first and postpone any rescue efforts until morning. When morning came, they were shocked to learn that the aliens who had attacked the night before had apparently arrived on Earth with an enormous fleet. On the following night, Matt, Dennis, and Amelia decided to go out to look for clues regarding Peter's wife and son. They soon discovered that everyone the aliens had captured was being locked up together in a factory. Unfortunately, they were unable to rescue these people because the room was protected by some kind of laser defense. A friend or acquaintance of theirs who was also imprisoned revealed that several other captives had already been moved to an unknown location. Moments later, a number of aliens arrived, forcing Matt, Amelia, and Dennis to flee into a nearby plantation. At the same time, they saw a very large, unidentified object pass overhead and land at the site where the captives had previously been held. Upon returning to the hidden shelter, they recounted everything they had witnessed. However, unbeknownst to them, the aliens had detected the movements of Matt, Amelia, and Dennis and tracked them to their hideout. Fortunately, thanks to their resistance, they managed to defeat the two aliens that had infiltrated the shelter. Realizing the location was no longer safe, they decided to find a new refuge. They took the equipment carried by the two defeated aliens and, during their journey, made efforts to rescue other survivors they encountered. Through one battle after another, they gradually built a colony capable of fighting back, collecting more weapons from the aliens they defeated. After a few weeks, they had established a larger group and built a hidden settlement deep within the forest. Life in the settlement progressed relatively well until one day the aliens began contaminating the water supply, forcing the colony to act. They were compelled to relocate their hideout and continue fighting for survival in the face of these new challenges. 8 months later, we see Matt and Amelia desperately trying to evade the aliens' pursuit. Unexpectedly, they run into someone who managed to escape from the aliens' captivity by crawling on the ground, as her legs no longer functioned. It turned out that the aliens had been conducting experiments on the humans they captured. This person briefly handed Amelia a strange object belonging to the Greys before being captured yet again by the aliens. After escaping, Amelia and Matt rejoined Peter, Arnold, and Dennis, who were at that time attempting to blow up one of the aliens' bases. When it finally detonated, Amelia observed clearly that the aliens had not only deployed their troops to fight, but had also brought along their own population, including alien infants. Returning to their settlement, they found that Jackson, Bella, and Marcus's group had successfully captured one of the Grey aliens. Upon seeing the imprisoned alien, Peter, driven by anger at losing his wife and son, reacted harshly by striking it. Fortunately, some of the others intervened, stopping him before the alien was fatally harmed. They reasoned that if the alien died, they would lose a chance to gather important information. Here, Amelia accepted the reality of their situation, believing that no matter how fierce the resistance, the aliens would never leave Earth. According to her, these aliens had arrived intending to live and settle on the planet. After everyone else left, Amelia approached the alien and showed it the mysterious device she had obtained. With a single touch of its finger, the object suddenly activated and displayed a holographic image of Earth, revealing that the Greys had been studying the planet for what seemed like thousands of years. However, not long afterward, Matt arrived and interrupted Amelia. Realizing the aliens had been observing Earth for centuries, everyone wondered about the true intentions of these extraterrestrial visitors. Consumed by anger over his missing wife and son, Peter struck the alien again, resulting in its death.
Go back to jail where you belong.
Following that incident, Matt formed a team to rescue any remaining captives still held by the aliens. Arnold, Jackson, and Marcus joined this mission. Meanwhile, Amelia went alone to a factory, where she was startled to see that some of the people captured by the aliens were being forced to cultivate strange plants. At the same time, Vanessa, Jackson's girlfriend, went into labor, indicating that she was about to give birth. A few people helped Vanessa, while asking Dennis to locate Jackson and inform him. But just as Dennis reached Jackson, their group was ambushed by the aliens. During the attack, Arnold suffered an injury to his right arm, and Matt was knocked unconscious when his head was struck by a blast. Even worse, the settlement where Vanessa was delivering her baby was suddenly overrun by the aliens. This forced Peter and Bella to lead Vanessa into the forest, hoping she could safely finish giving birth. While Vanessa did deliver a baby girl, she herself could not be saved due to severe bleeding. When they were at their most desperate, military forces unexpectedly arrived to rescue Matt's group and those in the settlement, brought in at Amelia's request. At that same moment, Jackson finally appeared. By the next day, the military took all survivors and the injured to a hidden base in the forest. Based on Amelia's knowledge, the military planned to free the prisoners still trapped in the factory. It was rumored that within the factory was a kind of alien biological weapon designed to wipe out the remaining humans. To carry out this final assault, they would deploy the remaining combat units, joined by Amelia, Marcus, Peter, Dennis, and Bella. Jackson chose not to join because he now had only his baby to care for. Eventually, the team set out for a final offensive, beginning at a plantation area. Here, Peter received an emotional surprise. He discovered that his wife and son were still alive. Meanwhile, back at the military headquarters, Colonel Grant, in charge of the operation, received intelligence indicating that an attack on the factory could end tragically because it was apparently a trap. Yet the assault team already dispatched had lost contact, so there was no way to warn them. Jackson, who happened to overhear this information and realized his friends were in serious danger, woke Matt and convinced him to help rescue Amelia and the others at the factory. Although Matt had just recovered, he and Jackson hurried to the factory, opting to enter from a rear entrance. Moments later, they heard explosions on the other side of the building, implying that Amelia and her group had initiated combat. However, Matt and Jackson's primary objective was to take control of the biological weapon. They pushed forward, and in the process, liberated several people who were still being held. They then split up. Matt went in search of the alien's biological weapon, while Jackson planted bombs throughout the factory. Eventually, in one room, Matt discovered the truth. The Greys' home planet had been destroyed and was no longer inhabitable. That was the reason these aliens had come, to seize Earth as their new home. This explained why they had been monitoring Earth for thousands of years. In that location, Matt finally obtained the alien biological weapon, but soon after, more aliens arrived to surround him. He managed to break free of their encirclement. Elsewhere, Amelia and the military forces fighting in the plantation area were nearly overwhelmed. Had it not been for the restoration of their communication signals, which allowed them to request air support, they might have lost. Even the individuals forced to work by the aliens began to join the resistance. Afterward, Matt and Jackson, still inside the factory, found themselves cornered once more. In a final act of resolve, Jackson, badly wounded, asked Matt to look after his child. Then Jackson made a decision to detonate the bombs and destroy the factory along with the alien stronghold. The resulting explosion left the remaining Grey aliens with no choice but to surrender. And in the end, humanity emerged victorious. Later, Amelia learned from Matt that the aliens had come because they wanted to reside on Earth. Moved by this knowledge, Amelia approached the captured aliens, releasing them from their restraints. She proposed a truce, suggesting that they share the planet and cooperate with humanity to prevent further needless conflict. Ultimately, some Greys, who agreed to end the war and live alongside humankind, turned against the other Grey aliens that refused any ceasefire. The struggle continued as humans sought to liberate other cities still under Grey alien occupation. And with that, the film ends. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, because by subscribing you have supported me to make better videos. See you in the next video.